So it's to nobody's surprise that Bolton and Bury are both two struggling clubs in the English 3rd Division after extremely turbulent summers. Bolton managed to get things together, meanwhile Bury on the other hand were expelled from the Football League. So you know what, I thought it is the Christmas season, it is the festive period, it's the time for giving, not receiving. So let's just say Christmas has come early for both Bolton and Bury because today we will be giving them both £2 billion. Obviously Bury were expelled but are still in FIFA 20. They didn't have time to take him out before FIFA 20 launched, and therefore we still have Bury to work with. So we're going to be giving them both £2 billion. Then we're going to go away from the club. We're going to see how they spend it throughout the transfer windows. Are they going to spend any of it in the transfer window? Are they just going to sit on a lump of cash, on a lump of $2 billion? Are they going to invest it in other things rather than players? Who knows? But that is the fun of it. That is what we got to look forward to today. Both have been gifted with a fat check by Sir BCHD. And we're going to start off with the strugglers, Bury, probably one of the worst sides in League 1 in the 3rd Division and are destined for relegation. They start off with £1.3 million, a mere £1.3 million. That's going to get them nowhere. But bam, just like that, £2 billion in the transfer budget. A small donation can go a long way, and they've received a gift from the heavens. The transfer budget, it's looking quite thick right now. Bury have about £2 billion to play with in the summer transfer window. Are they going to go out and buy some players? How are they going to improve their squad? What are they going to do with all this cash? Are they just going to sit on it, or will they actually go ahead, be active, be a proactive club and make their mark in January or even the summer transfer window? We're going to have to find out. Go on, to enjoy the video, please make sure to smack that like button down below, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more FIFA 20 career mode content coming on the channel on the daily. Follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and of course comment down below what other videos you'd like to see on the channel next. And just take a look at the state of this, right? The board, the Bury board, they've just received the best $2 billion they're ever going to get, and they want to keep salary growth under 20%. I honestly don't even understand. It's a critical priority as well. Alright, Bolton have come calling. They want a taste of the Midas touch. Let's apply for the job and supply them with the goods. Just like that, we're at Bolton, and you guessed it, £2 billion in the transfer budget, a flat fee, and Mr. 1 billion has not only offered up $1 but $2 billion to both Bury and Bolton. So that is a combined £4 billion. I'm going to go ahead to a different League 1 side and see what both clubs have to spend in the summer transfer window, and in January we're going to see and sim to the end of the season. And if not, if they're just sitting there on £1 billion each come the end of one season, maybe even 2 seasons, we're going to step in, provide them with a super squad to see who will be better off with the £2 billion, Bolton or Bury. Who will be the best club after this financial boost? We're going to have to find out. I'll see you at the end of the summer transfer window. And the team we decided to take over to see how this experiment would pan out is of course Sunderland. Considering how far they've fallen from recent years, they should be given the £2 billion, but nevertheless, it is Bolton and Bury we're focusing on today. I'm going to take a look at their business so far. Bolton have acquired no one with their £2 billion. Let's see how Bury have done. We'll scroll across. And yeah, a bit of a quiet summer over there. They're sitting on £2 billion and nothing much is going on. We'll see if deadline day can change that up, and we'll see if they'll make any last minute deals to finish off the window. And with 1 hour to go in the transfer window, let's see if it was a busy deadline day for Bolton and Bury. If we scroll across, we'll give them a second chance, and no, Bolton have acquired nobody. We'll see what Bury have done, and yep, you guessed it, that has been it. What a summer. I mean, records have been broken. Okay, maybe it came to a shock. Maybe it was a shock to the system. They don't know what to do with their £2 billion. We'll give them a second chance come January to see if they'll bring in any more new players. I'll see you at the end of January. Let's see what deals they can pull off. It's going to be exciting to see what deals will go through with their £2 billion, or will they have another lackluster transfer window? We're going to find out on deadline day right here. Okay, AFC Wimbledon. We'll scroll across. Again. What are they doing over there at Bolton? They need some guidance. They've sold nobody. We'll take a look and scroll across to Bury, and it's as quiet as it gets. £0 spent, £0 of profit, and it's the same exact story with Bolton. Who knows what they're spending their money on? Maybe a new stadium, maybe on training facilities. Anyone's guess is as good as mine. We'll see how they end up towards the end of the season, but this is how they're currently standing. It is Bolton in 11th, and I'm going to guess Bury is right at the bottom. Yeah, they needed £2 billion and they've used absolutely none of it. Bolton, despite getting $2 billion at the end of League One, they managed to just avoid the playoffs and finish in 8th. Meanwhile, Bury, yeah, they finish on a measly 13 points, using absolutely none. Using 0 cents of any of that money in their transfer budget, and therefore both having pretty disappointing seasons. Alright, here we go again. It is Season 2. Bolton have managed to stay in the league, so yet again we've gifted them with £2 billion. We'll see. We'll give them one more chance at the summer transfer window. Are they going to spend any of it, or is it just a waste of time before we step in and actually do the business in the window? And Mr. 1 billion is happy to offer his services for one more transfer window. It is do or die for both Bolton and Bury. Are they going to get their act together once we simulate past the transfer window? I just want anyone to be bought in at this point. Are they going to actually use any money? And I honestly regret to inform you that both Bolton and Bury have spent little to nothing, basically nothing, on new signings, and they've just stuck by their side that they've got, not relying on £2 billion. They don't want money to ruin the game. They've got a few youth academy players in here, but nothing all too special. And then Bury, who have been relegated, yeah, they've still got their no-face gang. They've got a youth academy player in there who's terrible, and still some more no-face players. So absolutely £0 spent between the both of them. Now this is where we come in. We're going to take charge of Bolton and Bury yet again. This time, we're actually going to actively spend their £2 billion on assembling the best team possible to see what side could come out on top against each other, who would be the better off, and who would the £2 billion benefit more, and a whole rebuilt, reinvigorated team. Alright, first off, we're back to Bury. The £2 billion treatment will be enacted, considering they have no business in spending any of their money. We're going to spend it for them. I'll be back once we've assembled the absolute £2 billion super squad here at Bury. And finally, the deed is done. £2 billion spent here at Bury. We've completely revitalized, reinvigorated the whole entire club. 1.962.1 billion pounds spent. We're just not going to spend the last 40 million because I literally have no other players to spend it on. Due to the fact that we're also going to take over Bolton and spend £2 billion as well, I sort of had to keep, some elite players out in the market just so that this Bury side isn't way too overpowered. We've literally got so many decent players here. We've got high-end talent right now. We've gone all out. The likes of Oblak in net, Dybala, Martinez, Koulibaly, Militao, Pepe. We've gone for a bit of depth as well. We've basically got 2 starting 11s in. We've brought in 22 players. The likes of Cristiano Ronaldo will be here at Bury as well, and we've spent the cash, as you can tell. We've introduced some young talent. We've also acquired some more established talent. Our record transfer fee was 166 million for Eden Hazard, and then it goes down to Kevin De Bruyne, Harry Kane, Frankie de Jong, Oblak, Dybala in there as well, Ronaldo for just under 100 million, Koulibaly and Skriniar, the 2 defensive rocks, right back and centre back, the 2 Bayern Munich boys, Milinkovic, Savic, Jadon Sancho, Oyarzabal, the lid as a backup, and it just keeps on getting better and better. And this is how they're currently lining up in the 4-2-4 formation. We've got Robertson, Koulibaly, Skriniar, and Kimmich to be the back 4. Oblak will be in between the sticks. It's Frankie de Jong and Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield too. And the front 4 will be Eden Hazard, Kane, Ronaldo as the strikers, and then Jadon Sancho on that right-hand side. And how the tides have turned here. Bury on the brink of extinction, and now all of a sudden, things are looking also dandy up here for the club. Although I'm not going to lie, I do have serious fears that FIFA and the FA will be knocking on our doors sooner rather than later for some financial fair play wrongdoings. We'll try evade them, we'll try hide it under the carpet and pretend like nothing's happened. What a summer transfer market glow up. 22 players in, and it looks like a completely different squad. They've gone from 0 to 100 real quick, but now we're going to take over the reins of Bolton in League One as well, and we're going to spend our $2 billion right here. This is the before shot. We're going to jump ship and see what team we can create over there at Bolton. I'm just keen to break some more financial play rules. Let's just get straight into the signings. And it's a bit of a different situation here at Bolton. We've actually pretty much spent most of our transfer budget. We only have £9 million left after $2 billion was spent. So I guess you could say we've used our funds a bit more efficiently here, but I think the players were a tad more expensive in the long run. Nevertheless, straight away we start off with Raheem Sterling, the latest of our signings here with Bolton, finishing off our transfer business. And we also have Luka Jovic, another marquee signing, another marquee striker who will bag us a lot of goals is, of course, Robert Lewandowski. We've also brought in a lot of younger talent like Felix and Kai Havertz, and then Alexander-Arnold, a starting right back. A more in-depth look at the team in general, we have the two goalkeepers, Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Ederson, to be the backup. In terms of centre-back, it's Marquinhos. Another young talent we brought in, João Felix, which we already saw. Arthur, the midfielder, Lucas Hernandez, Ousmane Dembele. A lot of French influence in this squad, as we see Mohamed Salah from Liverpool. We also have Kylian Mbappe. We brought in a few players from PSG and both Liverpool here, as Neymar joins the squad as well. We had Ronaldo in at Bury, and now we've got to have Lionel Messi over here at Bolton to compete up against each other. It can't be a team without either Lionel Messi or Ronaldo, so those two will be participating in the experiment. We also have Jimenez, we have Virgil van Dijk, Casemiro, Bernardo Silva, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fabian, Alex Telles, Phil Foden to be another kind of young and up-and-coming talent to grow into this squad, Luka Jovic, Raheem Sterling, Lewandowski, and then to put the icing on top of this Bolton cake, it is on a pre-contract Christian Eriksen, the Dane, 89 overall, will be joining at the end of Season 1. Two stacked squads we've built here at both Bolton and Bury. The real question is now, which one of them will come out on top? And just to wrap it up, 1.885.10 million pounds, just a bit lower than the Bury spending. I'm not too sure how that all equated together, but nevertheless, that is all the money we've spent in this one window. I'm absolutely exhausted. I've spent about a total of £4 billion in the space of an hour or so, so I'm just sick of buying players right now. And this is how the new look Bolton will be lining up in the 4-5-1 attack formation. Kylian Mbappe spearheading the attack there, with both Mohamed Salah, Bernardo Silva right behind him, Casemiro the pivot in the middle. We have Neymar and Messi on either side of each other. Alexander-Arnold will be the right back, Marquinhos and Van Dijk partnering at centre back. And then we have Telles at the left back position. Ter Stegen will be the main man in between the sticks. We've taken two different approaches. Like I said, you got to keep this in mind that this is both going on in the same career mode save. And now that we've left Bury, their managers messed up the formation, messed up the players. Nevertheless, they've still got all their stars in that side, jumbled up with a bunch of the Bury players, also with a lot of the players that we added in there. It is going on all in this save. Bury and Bolton are absolutely jam-packed with world-class talent. Whoever gets promoted to the Premier League first and whoever wins out the Champions League first is the winners in my books. And now it is time for some simulation. We're going to sit back, we're going to watch it all unfold and see what happens with these two once struggling clubs. And at the end of Season 1, it sees both clubs get promoted, both Bury and Bolton. Bury the champions, and then Bolton right in second position. Both gain an automatic promotion. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. They'll both be in the championship next season. And then here with the top goal scorers in League 1, it is Kane up top, getting the golden boot, 45 goals. Ronaldo with 36. Neymar for Bolton with 16, but then no other players there for either club getting the golden boot. We have Bury with Kane and Ronaldo being the main goal scorers, being the main contributors to the side, I should say. Bury also having De Bruyne in there, Hazard as well, Bolton having Messi with 8 assists, Neymar also getting involved there with 8 assists, and then we move on to clean sheets, and it's Oblak with 34, not having much to do whatsoever. It was Ter Stegen for Bolton with 16. Alright then, up to the second division, they both go. What an interesting turn of events it's been here, but now the championship has come calling. Let's see what Season 2 has to offer. So in Season 2, they both absolutely smashed it, getting back-to-back promotions and finishing in that first and second position. It is Bury with 129 points, champions of the championship, and in second, Bolton 5 points behind them. Not a draw all season for Bury, which is quite interesting. 3 losses on the board. Nevertheless, they both go up in flying colours. The Premier League, here they come for Bury and Bolton, but it wouldn't have been without these few lads scoring the goals, like Neymar for Bolton, 38 goals in 43 matches. We moved down to Christian Eriksen. That was a notable and worthy signing, 30 goals in 41 matches. We'll move down Bury. The likes of Harry Kane continues his goal scoring form. Hazard, Mbappe, Dybala and Ronaldo, all for Bury and Bolton respectively, in there with double figures in goals, and they just keep on coming here in the championship. We'll scroll down and see if we got any more. No, we'll check the assists, and it's Hazard and Paulo Dybala for Bury in there with double figures in both assists right there. Neymar and Eriksen right behind them, but basically it's Bury and Bolton players dominating the top 10. And battling it out for clean sheets, it was between Oblak and Ederson. Oblak finishing on top with 36, and then Bolton, Edison finished off with 24. And in the Cups, I've just completely forgotten about this. The FA Cup, they finished out 2-1 winners. Bury beating out Bolton. They somehow met in the final, beating Premier League teams on the way as well, but with their squads, you'd kind of expect it. Bury win the FA Cup at Wembley, and Bolton are unfortunately taking the L there, but in the Carabao Cup, they make up for it with a 3-0 victory over Manchester United, so I guess they both win a bit of silverware at the end of the day. And Everton knocked out Bury 4-3 on penalties in the Carabao Cup, so therefore that both puts them in European positions next season. They're either going to be playing in the Europa League, I do believe they're both going to be playing in the Europa League, so they're thrown into Europe straight away. They're going into the first division of English football. The Premier League is awaiting them, and that's where the real battle will start. So silverware has been won, and now it's time to do it against the big boys. Alright, to start off Season 2, for some weird reason, Bury have sold Militao for £37.1 million, and they've brought in Davies. I believe that's Alphonso Davies. On the other hand, Bolton have also had a little bit of a transfer business going on, and Martin Jacobs brought in for less than £5.85 million. It would be interesting to see how they balance all those competitions, but that is the beauty of it. We'll see if those signings make a difference at the end of the day. And as we arrive in January, I regret to inform you guys that Bury just keep on selling. I mean, they haven't been selling all too much, but I mean, you give them the world, and they've just been ungrateful so far. They've just been dishing it out for some more cash. And at £86.1 million, Barcelona will take on Joshua Kimmich over at the Camp Nou. And unfortunately, Bury lose another one of their day one stars. Now, let's see who's won the Premier League battle. Who's coped with all the competitions well? We'll take a look. And they've definitely finished in the top 10. It was a race for the Premier League title, and it was Bolton. Experience pays off, and Bury finished runners up, 4 points behind them. Bolton have finished in second fiddle to Bury so many seasons in a row, but when it mattered, the Premier League title, Bolton was the first to finish invincible as well. Bury, although, did put up a good fight in there with 106 points, both Centurions, and what a way to finish off the season. Both Chelsea and City in the top 4 as well. We'll take a look at the FA Cup, and it was Bury again to win it out 3-2, this time against Manchester United. A brilliant performance by them in the final in, of course, Wembley. And then we'll take a look. Bolton got knocked out by Manchester United 2-1 in round 6. Now it's time for the Carabao Cup, though. It was a 4-0 dominating win by Bury in the Carabao Cup to Liverpool. The final was a dominating display, and Bolton sacrificed their cup form in order to focus on the league. Fair play to them. That is a smart strategy, and they ended up getting knocked out in the quarterfinals 5-4 on penalties to Liverpool. European competition time, and the UEFA Super Cup sees Bury win 2-1 against Real Madrid. I can only assume that they ended up somehow getting in a European competition whilst they were in the championship. I actually have no clue. I should have checked earlier. Nevertheless, I do believe they won the Europa League in Season 2. Like I said, got no clue how they got there. It will always be a mystery. Nevertheless, the Champions League was also won by them as well. I am just finding out so many different things right now. Okay, they won the Europa League in Season 2, and then that qualifies them for the Champions League once they were in the Premier League already, so they didn't need to finish in the top 4. In the Championship, they won the Europa League. Okay, I understand. It's all getting unpacked now. I'm finally wrapping my head around things now. 2-1 to Bury against Real Madrid. They're proven to be a little rivalry in Europe. We'll take a look at the Europa League, and let's see if Bolton were anywhere near these European competitions. Yes, they were. They were in the Europa League, and they won 4-0 against Frankfurt. A great display by them, and oh, I just realized that means Bury win. That means Bury win. Okay, Bury have won the tournament. Bury have won the challenge, the experiment, whatever you like to call it. A bit anticlimactic because I didn't clock it until later. Nevertheless, Bury have taken out the ultimate prize, the Champions League, and I said first to win the Champions League wins it against these two clubs. So the £2 billion did Bury the best, and they took their form all the way into the Champions League, and they went on to win the whole damn thing. Maybe we built a better team at Bury. Maybe Bury sold less of their players and just kept it with their starting 11. Maybe they were more in luck with injuries and suspensions on their side. But here we have the top goal scorers in the Premier League. It was Cristiano Ronaldo getting 31, a familiar scoreline, a familiar tally for the Portuguese striker. striker there. Neymar with 29, and then Lautaro Martinez for Bury with 28. We also have Mbappe and Hazard in the charts. Eriksen makes it in there with 17. And then in terms of assists, Ronaldo was definitely the MVP, not only for Bury, but in the Premier League as a whole with 17 assists. And in terms of clean sheets, Oblak tops out Ederson once more, 24 for him, 17 for Ederson. And in the Champions, and in the Europa League, we have both of the top goal scorers being from Bolton, 16 goals for Mbappe and 13 for Neymar. I know we said first to win the Champions League wins the challenge, wins the experiment. Nevertheless, we're going to see how these $2 billion affects them in Season 4. I want to see these two sides both in the Champions League now that Bolton won the Europa. They're both going to be participating in the Champions League. So let's see how the European climate deals with these two English superpowers that we've built up over these few years. It is going to be an insane climax, an insane blockbuster finish. And to end off the summer transfer window of Season 4, we've got a few updates here. Bury and Bolton both taking massive hits to their squad, with Frankie de Jong leaving for Chelsea for 121.5 million. Luka Jovic off to Barcelona, so they've weakened their squads right here. Marquinhos as well departing Bolton for Borussia Dortmund for 78.4 million pounds. Nicolas Pepe off to Inter Milan, so Bury losing another player. And yeah, a lot of departures, not much intake for these clubs. They're trying to get rid of, I guess, players that don't really play all too much, but Bolton have brought in a right back in Nelson Semedo. They've also brought in the injury-prone Benjamin Mendy for 33 million pounds from Crystal Palace. Bit of spending for Bolton, not too much for Bury, so let's see how that all eventuates and pans out in Season 4. Alright, so here comes the moment of the truth. Who wraps up the video? Who takes out the Premier League crown? And it is Bolton, back to back. And again, they both finish on 100 plus points. Centurion seasons for the both of them, but there can only be one winner, and Bolton by 2 points is the closest it's ever been. And Bury, unfortunately, fallen behind the mark there in terms of the league. But hey, they won the Champions League first, so I guess you guys can decide who really took the W in this video. But it is 2 Premier League crowns for Bolton. In the FA Cup, let's see who took it out, and Bolton got more revenge on Bury there. A 2-1 victory at Wembley in the final on FA Cup final day. And Bolton again have won the domestic treble here in Season 4. What a season it's been for them. They've sold a lot of players, but they've also brought in a few smart signings, so I think that's what brought them over the line at the end of the day. And we switch over to the UEFA Super Cup, and it's the Europa League winners versus the Champions League winners. And of course, Bury, with all their European prowess now, have taken that one out on Bolton. It seems like Bolton have just smashed it domestically, and then when it comes to European competition, Bury have just taken it up a level and just focused on that. But in the final, as soon as I say that, it is Bolton to win the Champions League. So now they are both equal. It was a Bury and Bolton Champions League final, and it went to Bolton 1-0. So they've done the quadruple, what no other Premier League side has done before. A domestic treble and also the Champions League trophy. What an achievement for Bolton. We'll take a look quickly at the top goal scorers, and it's Bury, Harry Kane with 33 goals. Neymar in there with 25 in the Premier League as well, and Mbappe with 21. Oyarzabal for Bury with 19. And yeah, there's a lot of Bolton and Bury players scattered across the leaderboard. Harry Kane came out on top for assists as well, but a lot of Bolton players made their way in there. And Oyarzabal finishes as the top goal scorer in the Champions League, but it mattered little to nothing because Bolton took out the Champions League. And it was such a compelling and interesting derby to take a look at and analyze as they climbed their way up the Premier League and also the English divisions. It's safe to say that they've both made their fair impact on the European scenes as well, not only for England, but throughout the whole entire world as a piece. And let me know down below who took the W in this video. Was it Bury winning the Champions League first, which I originally said that was going to be the defining factor in this whole entire video, or was it Bolton who won back-to-back Premier Leagues, had an outstanding season in 4, winning that ultimate last Champions League final at the end, or was it Bolton? Let me know down in the comments. But what a meteoric rise to the top it has been for both Bury and Bolton. With £2 billion, it can get you a long way in football. This is how they're going to end off the video, so I thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end. Make sure to slap a like on the video down below if you went on to enjoy it. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more FIFA 20 career mode content. Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. Also, make sure to comment down below. All that good stuff. I have been BCHD. As always, I hope you did enjoy, and I'll catch you all on the very next video.